Hutton Radio, where the sun always shines. on the other side of the station.
Hutton Orbital. It's like Trumpton on a bad onion head trip. Hutton Orbital, where the word shithole comes to get some perspective.
Hutton Orbital. If you can hear this, then you really need to question your life choices.
Hutton Orbital. They don't make 'em like this anymore. Health and safety won't let us.
Things are getting back to normal. Outside Studio 5, our painting crew has just finished applying a fourth coat of mediocre mist, but the outline of a small but perfectly formed human is still just visible on the end wall. Also, despite the paint fumes, the smell of burnt hair and pork crackling are still unmistakable. Flossy gives one last forlorn hope and blasts an extra strength air freshener, Lavender Meadow if you're interested, and heads inside.
Well, that'll have to do for now.
Do we have an apple gogi officer this week?
The medical shuttle just landed on pad 2, so yeah, it looks like it.
Are we sure we want to welcome them back like this?
Look, it took me ages to clean this thing, and it's the only food I know how to cook.
Yeah, but a barbecue, though, isn't it a bit tasteless?
No, it's delicious.
I think I have an emergency cake somewhere.
Oh, I like cake. What kind is it? Oh, it's green bits on it. Are they pistachio?
No, it's just a bit of mould. I'll scrape it off easily enough.
I don't mind. I'll have a slice with mould. It's more cultureful.
The studio door opens and a white uniformed orderly enters the room pushing a wheelchair with a big red light on the front and containing a barely recognisable apology officer. 1 beat for no, 2 beats for yes. He barks and then leaves.
Hiya, are you feeling all right?
Does it itch?
Do you want a chicken leg?
Do you want to blow out your candles? Maybe later. I think you're getting a bit overexcited at the moment.
Why don't you say the thing?
Seamless.
Seamless.
Good evening, and welcome to the all-new, super shiny, redecorated Hutton Orbital show. I'm nearly ready for action, Rudolph Hucker.
And I'm wascally Wilma Fingerdo.
And I'm the one and only Wan Care.
I'm gnarly Norma Snookers.
I'm suitably Sandy Crevice.
Beep!
And now, it's, time for the show. Space hippies, mystery, or menace?
Teensy problem with the apology officer.
Too Hot, Too Messy hits week 36. We bring you the update.
Time to activate your ECM incoming event.
It's me, Atif! I am back with news, name drops, and bugs!
It's time to find out what's been going on in Hutton space. It's time for the BGS News.
Space hippies. It's always space hippies. Mysterious munchies going missing from the fridge? Space hippies. A smell of Banter prayer sticks down the corridor? Definitely space hippies. Normally, space hippies are just part of the wonderful tapestry of the galaxy, whether wandering around in their caftans and sandals and declaring that their hair, or lack of it, is connecting them in some deeper way to the universe. They are, in general, harmless. Or mostly harmless. Sometimes, though, hippies get together and get a government and invent technology, and that's where it gets scary. Who knows where the chemically altered hippie brain might take things? Of course, it could lead to startling inventions, glorious writing, and the kind of music that students like to listen to a lot in their first year whilst experiencing the wonders of being away from home. In other cases, and we're looking at you, Pranav Antal, they start tinkering with things what humanity ought to leave well alone. Like being able to stick a USB drive up your Whatsit and download your consciousness, or tinkering with Guardian relics, or both. There are strong rumours across Galnet recently, and most probably alluded to by guest presenters Wotherjude and Beetlespoon later in the show, that this cohort of highly educated, technophile space hippies are somehow involved with salvation. And we mean salvation with a capital S. You know, the dead dude, who might not be so dead as everyone imagines. There are rumours that instead of using some form of a hybrid Guardian read Firewire port to download himself, he's used good old-fashioned USB as invented by space hippies. This of course means that someone is a big fibber. Either it's the enclave that claimed to have rescued / have custody of what used to be Salvation and his olives, or it's the space hippies themselves in a case of galactic plagiarism where they haven't invented a flaming thing, they just stuck a Guardian Doobra into one of their laptops and did a magic cut-paste on what they found before going, ooh, at the pretty lights. Nobody knows whether space hippies will be our salvation or our doom. But what we do know is the technology involved in your personal rebuy allowing you to get shot, fade to black, and then mysteriously reappear moments later somewhere else might just be connected. And it begs existential questions as to whether the new you is the same as the old you. Or are you blissfully unaware? Just like the space hippies.
Internal Hutton team news this week, as with the apology officer back fresh from the infirmary, there are concerns that they might have turned evil. In an episode reminiscent of certain movies, including Honey, I Shrunk the Apology Officer, Apology Space, and Fantastic Voyage, and with heavy involvement of the kinds of things that the dastardly Don Antonacci used to get up to with his theme parks, the apology officer, on waking from a medically induced coma, became obsessed with all things small. Teensy-tiny dinosaurs, little cars with working engines, whole tiny cities complete with monorails and waste collections that happen only on alternate weeks, and only if you don't overload your teeny tiny bins. It started with an ant colony, who the apology officer trained to build cities with defences, including missile barrages, just in case there was a rampaging aardvark nearby. It then moved to fully animatronic Lego people, who took over the entire west wing of the orbital, until floor mopping guy had the bright idea to turn up the heating a lot, and melted them all. Then, it was the personal shrinking machine, when the apology officer turned themselves into the Hutton Orbital equivalent of a dozer, and, safe in the knowledge that no one would actually stop a member of the radio team, started to assemble a teensy-tiny version of parts of Glasgow. You know the bits. The ones with graffiti and burned out cars and biffers everywhere. Oh, for those not from North Britain, a biffer is a brand of garbage truck, and not a piece of social commentary in the personal qualities of the inhabitants of North Britain, deep fried or otherwise. Nurse Wyeth has called to explain the sudden change of the apology officer and suggest some solutions. She states, "As much as we find a teensy-tiny apology officer running around in the studio very adorable, we're concerned that Alvin will attempt to use them as a chew toy. And whilst there would be a very satisfying squeak, we don't want to have to write that apology ourselves." It turns out that the Take Two and See Me in the Morning pills that were administered were from a batch sent up from Van Man and Star, and in a case of not reading the label, they were indeed a strong hallucinogen. We're glad to say that after a dose of nanomeds and a bit of a lie down, plus a go on the rack to return the apology officer to normal size, everything has returned to normal. We're keeping the diorama though, as things it says about Moof makes us laugh.
After 36 weeks, or 9 months, Too Hot Too Messy, the Hutton-led initiative to deliver a Hutton mug and Centauri Megagin to all the stations in the galaxy, has reached 68,000 deliveries. Last week was down significantly on previous weeks to a little over 1,000 deliveries, possibly due to issues with the Hutton Helper at the end of the previous week, or Easter, or something. The 4-week average has fallen to 1,600 deliveries. No new commanders have joined the effort in the last 3 weeks, still leaving 284 commanders representing 93 squadrons. Hutton still has the largest contingent with 77, and Alvin thanks all the other squadrons taking part. The Buckyball Racing Club are still in second place with over 3,900, the Winged Hussars are in third with over 2,800, the Paladins are in fourth with over 1,800, the Bear Pit are fifth with 1,300, the Undead are sixth on 1,100, and the Anti-Xeno Initiative became the 8th squadron to have broken the 1,000 mug mark, leapfrogging the Soteria record into 8th, who achieved this milestone last week. That obsessive-compulsive overachiever, Commander Chicks, is still leading the deliveries table with 9,000 mugs delivered. Waller 81 is second with 7,900 deliveries, ahead of Nemb in third with 4,900, and Shea Blackwood is in 4th on 3,800, ahead of the Infinite Dreamer in 5th. The 1000 Club welcomed its 11th member as Sinister Hedgehog took 10th place, leapfrogging Talkie Mouse. Of course, we know all this because it is tracked live, most of the time, in the Too Hot Too Messy event page in the Hutton Helper at hot.forthemug.com/hotmess2. In addition to trying to impress the station barman with your mugging prowess, there is a chance to win a real-world, handle at a jaunty angle, dishwasher unsafe Hutton mug. Any commander that delivers 10 mugs and gin in the coming week will be entered into next week's draw to win a real Hutton mug. Unless, of course, you already have one. 33 lucky commanders have accomplished this so far, and you can see a little golden mug next to their names in the top commanders table. Last week's winner was Fantastic Mr. Fox 77. No, not you, Fantastic Mr. Fox 76. So keep listening for this week's winner to be announced in the banter bit after the news. If you had delivered 10 mugs and gin a week in every week since the start, 8 months ago, you would have racked up 360 deliveries next to your commander name, and only 36 commanders, which is 1 in 8 of them, have managed this. If you haven't, why not give it a try and share the burden? In order to join in the fun, all you need to do is sign up by downloading the Hutton Helper from hot.forthemug.com/download, and then your mug and gin deliveries will be automatically registered for you by Antares' artificially intelligent Nexus 6 action hamsters. Still the ones with eagle eyes, realistic fare and kung fu grip.
With the time fast approaching that commanders who have been out in deep space find themselves beginning to long for a little company, and realising that long distance hollow me isn't a substitute for real people. After all, if you can pass your hand right through them, it's no good for hugs. There are rumours of a top secret hush hush don't tell anyone event in Seoul later in the year. Here at Hutton, we've been told that this hush-hush thing is happening in South Britain on or around the 19th of August at the height of summer, and involves an unnamed bunch of commanders with a fetish for retro computing getting together with and pondering over it, beer in hand and then talking for hours. There are rumours that the Barnet Stars Dockers will be making an appearance, and we've received a request that the show move from its usual Thursday slot that week to the Saturday evening. LCU, no fool like one, never want to pass up an opportunity to regale the audience with his latest auditory delights, has confirmed that he's not going to be at the secret event. He's not going. As have former Hutton regulars Spike and Evenstar, and there are rumours that Palantir will be coming out of retirement and taking a slow apex taxi to the event later in the day. The Pilots Federation, whilst not officially appearing, have confirmed that they're sending a detachment of seasoned professionals to the gathering. And hang on, it slipped. To find out more, and Darwin's going too. To find out more about the ECM, that's not the thing that stops missiles, this ECM's the elite community event, then the secrecy seals will be sundered after these news headlines, and we're hoping that there's an announcement that the secret's not a secret anymore and you can go and buy tickets.
Good evening, trackers! ITIS 5060 reporting you with the latest updates on the Thargoid War. Humanity had taken some huge strides to containing the Thargoid expansion, meaning we are potentially hitting a turning point in the war. For the last 3 weeks, humanity had beaten back almost all the Thargoid's alerts and invasions in populated systems, all due to the advancement of Thargoid biopsy specialist techniques in harvesting tissue samples from the Thargoid interceptors and then blowing them up afterwards. Across all maelstroms, with the exception of Thor, We are slowing the Thargoid advancement and have even started to reclaim some systems. If we can contain the Thargoids over the next few weeks, we may be able to start a concerted effort to reclaim systems and push BIM back to the Maelstrom system. It will be a long road till we are there, truckers, but Haxwing will be continuing the effort to help humanity push back these invaders. Haxwing has another good week with his allies in the Mood Alliance, or is it MOD? Successfully defending Kual, Azlitai, and Tsukubaga. Another successful Hot Pubes event took place over the weekend, where Haxwing trucked in several thousand tons of supplies to the defence forces in Tsukubaga. In the light of their service in the defence of Tsukubaga, Fish 2193 is even real, and Scooby-Wisdom.com have earned themselves Haxwing mugs. Haxcom is honoured to have them join our elite ranks. Another mug has also been earned by Commander Dark Victual, who has killed 6,302 Thargoids. If he is listening, I ask that you get in touch with myself or any of the radio crew to let us know how best to deliver your Haxwing mug. Congratulations, Dark Virtual, on this amazing achievement! This week, trackers, Haxwing is taking a week-long break from the front lines and have decided to get some rest and relaxation with an exploration trip to North America and Pelican Nebulas. The North American Nebula and the Pelican Nebula. Haxcom is sponsoring a best photo contest as well as 2 SRV races over the weekend. Winners will be awarded a Haxwing mug. The trip will conclude on Wednesday with the race to Hutton Orbital, so we can pay tribute to our fluffy benefactor with hints of exploration and exobiology data. This expedition is open to any trackers interested, so please join us and check Haxwing briefing notices for locations. See you out there, truckers, for the mug!
With 6 systems getting themselves noticed this week, you know where finds itself the best of the worst. More on those stories coming up. Hutton's newest system, 36 Off-Yuki, has an election in full swing and a civil war pending, locking up most of the influence for the next week, leaving it on 27. Next is Ross 671, which until yesterday was low system on the pile. Second place are within 4%, meaning that the war is likely, but with so many stations owned by the other factions, now might be time to grab ourselves another station. Third and fourth worst are the 2 Epsilons, Eridani and Indy, where simultaneous outbreaks have left them on 32 and 37 respectively. Ship meds into the large pads in both systems to make a huge profit from someone else's misery, you capitalist filth. Georgie's Pants is 5th worst on 38. Yeah, that's all. It's a bit pants. No list of an underperforming systems will be complete without Barnard's star, so here it is, the best of the worst on 39. Sewage is still flowing into the public areas of stations in the PSPF-LF2 system, perpetuating last week's infrastructure failure. Shipping water purifiers and power generators to remedy the situation and bring systems back online, or don't bother, as they're getting used to the smell of eau de colonia. Alvin's home, Alpha Centauri, was cleared of blight at the weekend. How else do I explain the 38,000 tonnes later on? Anyway, but the system's economy has been bust for almost a week. Truckers, your home systems needs you to lend a hand to lift the bust. All 4 of our surface stations have large pads, so there's no need to schlep 250 tonnes out to Hutton Orbital. But you can if you want to, and the gin must flow. At the overachieving end of the Hutton systems table, we have 4 systems on or above 60%. Whoever was doing what in WISE 0855-0714, that infrastructure failure didn't stop you from expanding, did it? So find out which dump we expanded into next week. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, lift the bust in Alpha Centauri and relieve the outbreaks in the Epsilons.
Seamless.
Oh, added seams.
Straight
You get a bonus bong there.
Seams on seams.
It was expecting community news. The new Robotron that we've installed in the studio was expecting, community news. Well, I suppose there might be. First things first, though. Apology officer, are you there? I don't suppose you've wired up the voice box yet, have you? Well, just while we do the next little bit, could somebody just try and wire up the apology officer to a voice box, just so we can have them back? Yes, we know. Right, somebody who's got the wires? Litho.
I've got some wires.
Yeah,
Ooh.
just stick wires into the back of the sockets on the apology officer just for a minute. Anyway, welcome back to the studio, and thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you very much for the news and updates, everybody. I'm joined in the studio by, and I'm hoping by the time I get to the end of this, the apology officer's back. We've got Amelia.
Hello.
You've got a new microphone.
I do. How does it sound?
You sound glorious. You sound really loud too when you get excited.
Really?
Yes. Hang on a second.
I am loud when I get excited.
Doesn't bode well for later on.
There we go. We're just. We'll turn you down. There we go. You've been turned down a tiny
Wouldn't
bit.
be the first time.
Oh, hang on, Flossy. Pan that man, quick.
Boing.
There we go. Oh, that's good. That was a double panning. Right, and we're also joined by Commander Chicks.
Sorry, I'm just looking where Litho's plugging that plug.
Yes, there is. Are you feeling all right there, apology officer?
No, the other hole.
Right, okay.
Oh, no. This one's for the other hole. This one says high voltage. So.
Oh, definitely the other hole.
Oh, dear. No, not that one. Oh, crikey. Okay, the apology officer's eyes are lighting up and flashing now. Right, and we're also joined by Commander Flossy.
Hello.
And everybody wish Derek a happy birthday, because you're going to disappear in a minute to do cake, aren't you?
Maybe later, I'm not sure yet.
All right, when they get back from the pub, just abandon us and say, I'm off! And hopefully it's before the extended version of the CG News.
Yeah.
with extra CG News. But you're with us, and we've got Litho Breaker with us.
Hello.
And Litho, hopefully, have you sorted the apology officer there?
I think so.
Okay, well, we'll just check. Apology
Try
officer,
that.
are you back?
Ow.
I mean, last week, you start with the aardvark, the giant, rampaging, feral aardvark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring one in as a surprise.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. And you sort of ended with, somebody flailing you around by your cloak and doing stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's not so much a cloak now. It's more of a cape than a cloak now.
Yeah. Well, you're feeling better, though. Nurse Wyeth has given you some good drugs.
I've had good drugs, but I don't feel better.
Well, you're normal size again. I mean, you're not the size of a doozer.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I am normal size. Was I this small before?
Well, no, but you weren't running around on the desk like a doozer. That's the thing.
No, well, yeah, true. And my clothes fit again. Not that I can get into them. Because I'm covered in bandages. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, the burns will heal, I'm sure. I mean, nanomeds these days are really good things, advanced medicines and all sorts. Anyway, well, now that we're all back in the studio, number one question is, Frontier live stream this week? There wasn't one last week. There's got to be one this week.
There must be.
No. You see, last week it was a cancelled one. This week it's just an unscheduled one, so it wasn't.
Does anyone think they've run out of paint
different.
jobs to give us? Because
Maybe that was it.
Don't believe there are any. Has anybody checked on the stream?
Well, having passed Easter,
They might
now
run out.
maybe they were waiting for some really nice summery ones with flowers on them, but then 70-mile-an-hour winds hit and rain came down, and they decided no, we're just not ready for summer yet.
That sounds like what happened to the Juice mission launch today.
Yeah. Now, I do know that 1 or 2 listeners might be here for only one reason. And no, it's not drops this week, because we haven't got any drops this week. But there might be some extra listeners in the chit-chat for reasons.
Yeah, we don't get drops, but we do have drops.
Let's leave that to the end of the show and make them listen to the whole thing then.
What, the whole thing?
Actually, no, we'd probably get sued, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It is reminiscent of torture.
Yeah. Well, before we go to that bit, just to keep you on tenterhooks, you may notice if you're watching on Twitch that we've got new stuff on screen. Litho Break has been working very, very hard indeed with some crayons. And even better, I can remove people, which is fantastic. So, for instance, if the apology officer decides to pop out the room for a minute, I can do this, and the apology officer disappears. And then when the apology officer comes back in, I can do this, and the apology officer pops back in again, which is grand. We've also got now top right of your screen at the moment, and at the moment we've got an external camera on. I think it's Hutton Orbital.
Nothing happened.
A little bit of rotation going on there. There's a Too Hot Too Messy live feed top right that's currently broken. We don't know why. Too Hot Too Messy is still ongoing, but the live feed from the server seems to have broken. So we've got some lovely pictures courtesy of Commander Azrael. We can put up top right hand corner there, which is lovely. Yeah, I'll put it back up for you. Look, there we go. There's a picture of Hutton Orbital live, just in case. Security camera. No, there are no Thargoids nearby. And we can make people's faces go. We've got a new section for the stream chat, some spinny ships, and more things will happen. And hopefully they're all glued together. So when I do the next bit and we go to Flossy's super extended, really long CG section, it'll do stuff on screen. And funky things when Galnet comes up, and even maybe something special for the Galnet Rares Digest. Or not. Or I might insert some seams, and it might all go horribly, horribly pear-shaped. Now, for those of you waiting for the thing, I don't know if anybody's feeling particularly eagle-eyed, but if you look at the screen right now, there's some news coming across the bottom of the screen. Anybody else see it?
Yep.
Too Messy is live.
Yes.
Tickets for ECM 2023 are now live via elitecommunitymeet.info. And I think
it's not the European combustion meeting.
No, not the European combustion meeting. And in fact, even better than that, I think I do have a special little. I can pop it up on screen. There we go. I can pop a thing on screen. And there we go. That is the website that is live at the moment. And you can pop there, and it's got information on the event. Has anybody else got that sort of available or handy on screen so we can talk about it briefly for the benefit of the listener who's tuned in specially?
Can we have the little picture of the station back, please?
Oh, you want the station back? There we go. Well,
yeah, because
there we go. Well, I may have made a bit of a boo-boo there in that it keeps turning itself off really quickly, and I'd have no idea why. That particular property is not a source in seconds. Oh, here we go. Let's put it for 600 seconds, shall we? There we go.
It's just so pretty.
No, come back. Oh no, the station camera's gone. Hang on a second. Station camera back. There we go. Hopefully that should now be on for 600 seconds, which will give us even bigger loop. That's courtesy of Commander Azrael. Thank you very much, Azrael, who's been out and about doing videos. The picture of the geezers at the start and the rotating thingy that's on screen at the moment are all courtesy of Azrael. Tickets for Elite Community Meet ECM 2023 are now live, and in fact you can see on screen here, look, there's a website, there's a picture of the venue, there's lots and lots of links on there, there's detail about the charities we're raising for, and if you go all the way up to the tickets button, you can see you've got 2 options on the tickets. So let's go through the basics. Commander Chicks, first of all, the date. When is ECM 2023?
It's the 13th of April. Oh, the date of that.
Yes.
It's the 19th of August.
19th of August 2023.
Which I believe is a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, yes. And we're going to go with, let's go to Litho Breaker. Litho Breaker, where is it being held?
It is being held at the the Hilton St Anne's Manor.
Even bigger than that, it's the Doubletree by Hilton St Anne's Manor Hotel. There we go.
It's too much of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Which is in South Britain. Not far from Reading is the nearest major town and place that people will likely know.
It's sort of Reading, Wokingham kind of direction,
Yeah.
which is southeast. Now, as we've got up on screen at the moment, we've got a big question. I don't know if Flossy's got the details handy or not. Do you have the details handy, Flossy? If I ask you dead important questions from the homepage of the website?
Not at the moment.
Oh, that's fine. How about Amelia?
What's that?
No, okay. The apology officer.
Just busy watching the top right screen.
Beep. Oh, that's it. One beep for yes. Okay. So the first.
No, one beep for no, two beeps for yes.
No, one's definitely yes. All right. Okay. So, well, somebody asked me. Well, I'll ask myself.
Oh, that case, beep.
For those that haven't been to an ECM before, what is it? Well, number one, it's a non-commercial event run by us, the community. Now, it's not a Hutton event, but many of us will be there. But we are running the community to have a place to get together over the summer and share company, gaming, bite to eat, and a drink with fellow gamers. It is not a program-driven event with formal panels and talks from the stage. Nor is it cluttered with stalls from commercial sponsors. It's very much lots of space for all of us to get together and, socialise, play retro, play games, multiplayer games, play Elite, do a bit of VR, have a barbecue, that kind of thing.
Hang out.
Yeah,
And
it did.
possibly just one or two beers.
Yeah. Now, it did begin with Elite, but really, it's morphed into a bunch of like-minded people getting together and sharing our hobbies and a bit of a social time. And it will have been over a year since we all got together by the time it comes around.
Has it been a year since LiveCon?
It will have been by then.
July.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now, what is there to do? Well, basically, what are we going to
depends on
bring
what
with
you
us?
bring.
Yeah, exactly. So ECM, the other thing is we put the space on. We do bring quite a bit of stuff with us. There's a bit of Oculus Quest 2 with one of those haptic feedback vests, the Wooja vests, for you to have a go at, doing something and being blown up and feeling, ow, that hurts, Well, it doesn't, but it's, it certainly punches you in the kidneys quite hard. There's also a lot of retro gaming. I know Stephen Usher has been by before with lots of retro gaming, Spectrums and Commodores and BBC Micros playing Elite, that sort of thing. We always have a big screen playing 4-player Gang Beasts, which enables you to beat each other up without getting arrested. There usually is some form of racing, your Mario Kart. There's a full height arcade. There's lots to do, but also board games. We do know in previous years people like Spider-Mind have turned up and brought stuff, but people tend to bring board
I'll be
games.
bringing a bundle.
Yeah, Amelia is queen of the board games or the RPG games, and I'm sure you'll bring something, won't you?
Oh, definitely. We'll be bringing a bundle of board games, and I will probably bring enough stuff to run a Traveller game if there's time. I mean, it's only one day, see, and Traveller, well, running an RPG, it's going to take up a hefty chunk of that day.
Yeah, we could run maybe little Traveller scenarios, snippets.
We could do a little one, maybe.
You just enough time to roll up a character and die during character creation or something like that. Yeah.
Definitely character creation, definitely.
But a lot of what ECM's about is what you bring with you. So if there's a game you've always wanted to play and you don't have enough buddies locally, or you want to have a go at Battle Cards, there's 2 copies of Battle Cards coming and you've never played it, and you want like-minded people to sit down and have a game, bring it with you. If you want to have a go at Hero Quest and you own a version of Hero Quest or Zombicide or whatever, bring it with you. Let us know when you book your tickets and we can provide you some table space. We know Evenstar has said that Evenstar is coming and bringing the super-duper etching machine and the decal, the actual sticky ones, creator.
So if Evenstar offers to show you his etchings, don't smack him in the face. Is that right? Yeah.
Absolutely. There are rumours that the docking darts might, if they have survived the intervening 3 years, have survived in the back of the garage and might possibly making an appearance. We've also heard from Frontier. Now, they're not doing panels. They're not there to sort of stand there and tell us stuff. They're there to come and join in. But Frontier are coming to join us. The community management team and some of the devs are popping along, but they're very much there to join in and enjoy games with the community, not to present and be formal about things. There's all sorts. There is a special treat for the evening, and I think this is the first time we've spoken about it. We do have a special guest joining us for the evening. Mr. Norman Lovett, who played Holly in Red Dwarf, is going to be popping along in the afternoon.
Is it Leo in the voice packs?
And he plays Leo in the voice packs.
Yeah.
Is going to be popping along courtesy of HCS voice packs and joining us for the afternoon evening. Maybe if you've always wanted a beer with Holly from Red Dwarf, now's your opportunity.
Rumour has it he does have a body attached to the head, though, so prepare for disappointment.
We shall see. We've been doing a few other things as well. We actually, because it's summer and we all know that it sometimes gets hot, we did a site visit recently, and I've just popped up on screen at the moment. We did check with the venue, what outdoor space have we got? Because, squeezing midsummer all of us into that one room, albeit there's loads of space, can get a bit sweaty. So number one, the aircon works really well. Number two, they've given us access to our own private secret garden, which is on screen at the moment, which is attached to the room we're going to be in for outdoor space. And there's room for 40, 50 of you to chill out there and drink beer and chat. But they've also got their new covered area with seating and tables, where if you wanted to just migrate to there and play games, you're more than welcome to outdoors. Now, assuming the weather's going to be fine, they're actually going to move the food service outdoors, and dinner this year is going to be barbecue because it's summer. Dinner is optional. You don't have to have our dinner. You can go to the bar and order yourself a burger or do whatever you want. But if you want in on the dinner, that's one of the two options available on the ticket booking page. If that's the case,
why wouldn't you want in on the dinner? It's
well,
barbecue.
some people, now vegetarians, vegans, allergies, whatever else, too, please let us know on the booking system, because we will be dealing with any of those on a plate basis. The chef I went to see this week and has agreed that as long as we tell him who they are, he'll run into the room with a specially made dinner for you to say, this one belongs to ... insert name here, and actually hand make you your own dinner rather than having to join in the barbecue. So if you are vegetarian or vegan, they will actually hand make you a dinner rather than having to make do with the bread rolls that the rest of us have left. So yes, we're catering for that on an as needed, per person basis. Please do indicate on your tickets.
And if they ask you about allergies, don't do what I did at a Viva Brazil on Saturday night and go, let's find out.
It's got to be Spartacus, though, hasn't it?
It does. I'm allergic too, and so is my wife. They have got the conservatory area as well, which you can see on screen, and you can see the lawns in the outside area. So if it is hot, and we've just cursed it now, it's going to rain like mad, but if it is hot, there is plenty of outdoor space as well. They have contractually agreed to make sure there are plenty of bar staff, and they're going to make sure the bar is super, super extra stocked as well, because we're all very thirsty people. So that's not just a wish list from us. That's part of the contract that they're going to get it right.
It was a hell of a wait at LaveCon. Do you remember?
Well, we don't. Yeah, I mean, they were doing their best, but yeah, the thing is,
the barman just wanted to fight with everybody.
Well, he wanted to. Yeah, he challenged the entire audience to a fight. Now, accommodation. So you can get tickets. The tickets are for day and lunch. Lunch is not optional. Your ticket does include your lunch, which we're going to be. It's a fair, sandwiches, sausage rolls, big bowls of crisps, fresh fruit, that kind of thing, because it's summer and we didn't really want hot stuff in the middle of the day. Dinner is the barbecue, but accommodation, if you do want to stay at the hotel, and it is by no means mandatory, they do have a special booking code as well. So once you have bought your ticket, and please do it after, not before, there are details on the confirmation email and the accommodation page. We do have a special link, you can see it just here, which will take you to a page that's got it pre-filled for both nights, the Friday and Saturday, if you want to stay over and lend a hand the night before, and for one person. But you can change the settings at the top, and they've got doubles and twins and single and double occupancy options. Now, there was somebody who said, oh, but I can get it cheaper. Yeah, you can get it about £6 cheaper if you ditch the cooked breakfast and prepay. And cooked breakfast will be £12.50 when you get there. Or if you want to book through our booking code, then it is a few more pounds, but yes, you don't have to pay until you check out, and the breakfast is included. Now, if you can get it cheaper, if you've got Hilton Honours points, if you've got a super offer somewhere, if you want to stay at the local Travelodge, it makes no difference to us. We'd love to have you stay at the hotel, but it doesn't affect the event in any way. Please choose something that suits your budget. And if you can get it cheaper, bag it cheaper. It makes no difference to the event whatsoever. Other than that,
if you are looking for a room share and you want to get a twin room with somebody else, there is a room shares and ride shares channel on the ECM Discord.
Yep, the ECM Discord. Could I ask a favour of somebody to grab the link off the website? If you go to the Contact Us page, which is here on the website, and you can see there is a Discord link here. which you can click on, and that will take you to the Discord. We do also have a top secret helpers channel in there. If you are desperate to lend a hand with the crew and really want to muck in, roll your sleeves up and help with stuff, we would love to have your help. Please do come to the Discord, announce yourself. Hi, it's me, I'd love to help. Now, everybody pays. There aren't helper rates. All the crew pay, all the organisers pay. We're all chucking in the tin. So everybody chucks in the tin, and then we get down to the gaming. But if you do fancy lending a hand and using it as a way to meet people or organise a game or whatever you want to do let us know in the helper channel, and you can organise lift shares and room shares. There are some lift shares needed. Flossy, I think you're hunting for a bit of a lift share from the north.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anybody coming down the
Northwest.
M6, scream in there, I can rescue Flossy, because we need somebody to rescue Flossy. We have had a request for a lift from somebody coming from the Midlands, sort of Leamington-ish direction. There's a lift share available there, and I'm sure people will be happy to share some petrol costs and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a request from
and
there.
One for anyone passing Glasgow. I've just looked up train ticket prices.
Yes, so anybody coming from the north, and we know there are a few coming from even further north in the north and north part of North Britain, but I think they're going to be getting carrier pigeons or yeeting themselves via catapult. But so if anybody is coming down from the frozen wastes of the north, then please do let the apology officer know.
Beyond the wall.
Beyond the wall, yep. Winter is coming, but not in summer. So yeah, I mean that's.
Well, you are only little, aren't you? So you will fit in the glove box if it's a full car.
Well, we could shrink you again.
Yeah.
All the boot. I don't mind.
I could even show
Two questions.
Yeah.
First
Go on,
question is, what time does it all start on the Saturday?
Official event opening is at 10 a.m. Official event
10
closing,
a.m.
in terms of the formal proceedings in the room, is 11-ish p.m. At which point we all roll our sleeves up and pack the room up if we can, and then migrate to the bar in the hotel. Normally, I think we get to about 3 or 4 in the morning for the residents who are staying in the hotel. Some have been known to stay up all night. People have been asking what's happening on the Sunday. Now, we don't run any formal event on Sunday, so we shut down the PCs and the bits and bobs. But on the Sunday, it's perfectly normal at an ECM event to hang around, have your cooked breakfast, have a bite of lunch, and we all migrate to the conservatory area and the garden area and play games for the rest of the day. And then we all scarper when we're feeling a bit better later on the Sunday. So Sunday is very much set aside as a social day, not a formal event day. But you're welcome to come and join us if you want.
And second question, can you mention some stuff about the charities?
The charity, of course.
Oh, the
So
charities.
the way it works for the ticket fees is everybody chucks in the tin. It's £25 for a ticket, including lunch. That helps us cover the cost of the venue, the insurance, because we've got to put insurance on to make sure you're vaguely looked after in case things happen, and various costs. And then your lunch is included in the £25, and then any excess, once we hit the costs of the event and go beyond it, is donated and split between our two charities, which are Special Effect and Hearing Dogs. And Alvin will be there representing the Hearing Dogs as well. We split everything down the middle 50-50. We also publish the final numbers from the event so you can see where every penny has gone to. Dinner, the barbecue, is £25 more. So if you do want in on dinner, your total ticket would be £50, but it is purely optional. But I'm going for barbecue because I like food.
So am I.
Yep.
Barbecue.
Oh, yes.
It's barbecue.
But any excess at all is
barbecue.
split between the two charities. In previous years, we've raised quite a lot of pennies, a couple of thousand each for the charities. Now, costs have gone up at the venue. We've tried not to pass all of that on to you guys. So it may be that we're going to rely quite heavily on things like the raffle. Nice segue there, for raising some pennies for the charities. There will be a raffle during the event. If you have stuff you want to put in the raffle, if you're creating something, if you've got a super duper something you want to put on the table, it will be just inside the door, and there will be a raffle going on during the day. The raffle is only for people who are physically there. We would love to extend it to the VECM wider crowd, but we start having to post things overseas and it costs more than we raise for the charity. So at this stage, the raffle is only for people that are there. And it has, I mean, the table's been groaning under the weight of it in previous years. There will be 3D printed things, there'll be etched things, there'll be games, there'll be all sorts. And Frontier always do chuck some super specials in the tin as well. I've got up on screen as well the code of conduct, which boils down to one simple rule. The number one rule. Does anybody know the number one rule?
Be excellent to each other.
Absolutely. if you're at the event, the one thing you subscribe to, the number one most important thing you subscribe to, other than turning up and having a great time, is be excellent to your fellow attendees. Yeah, okay, so we flesh that out. Be friendly, help people, respect the equipment, do request permission if you're going to be using somebody else's computer. If anything pops up, tell the volunteers and the team, have fun, be respectful, be patient, be nice, be considerate, keep the nudity down, please. We shouldn't have to tell you this bit.
Yes, Flossy, we're looking at you.
I was only going for the nudity.
Yes. Any abusive behaviour, we will be asking our pet ninja Rampage to deal with you in no uncertain terms.
I thought the nudity was mandatory.
No. That's only in the jacuzzi and the pool. No, that's not. You have to wear swimming costumes in that. By the way, the hotel does have a spa and pool facility for those that want to as well. But basically, be awesome to each other. Don't be mean and look after everybody. A few rules on the basis of there will be assistance dogs there. In previous years, we've had some representatives from hearing dogs. Please understand the rules about working dogs and how to behave around them. Please never just go and, pat the dog without talking to the person they're assisting first. Please don't feed any assistance dogs. And if in doubt, ask the person that they're with for permission before doing anything. Otherwise, you break all the rules and people get upset. So don't do that. Anyway, so that is...
Retired Navy IT1 has just asked a question in chat.
Yes.
For those who can't make it but would like to help support the good causes that they are, what can they do?
Retired Navy, if you would like to PM me, I think you've got my contact details as well. Obviously, yes, enormously grateful for any help.
Buy raffle tickets.
Or...
No.
Well, then, yes, but we couldn't send them to the Retired Navy, so we'll be a little bit cautious on that one. There are ways and means, Retired Navy. We have had a couple of people chuck some pennies in the tin. PM me, and if anybody is interested, then we can always provide the means to help chuck in the charity tin, and or help out with the event and the event costs. So greatly appreciated, Retired Navy, for your offer. I've done a lot of talking there. I'm going to hand over to talk about space news, I think, for a minute while I let my voice down. So I'm going to have to hand over to Chicks for a couple of minutes,
just as I come into land.
Just as you come into land, to talk a little bit about space news.
Are you landing in Sukubargo? Because I think I went to school with her.
That was my gag.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stole it. Sorry. That was good, though.
So we've... European Space Agency had a mission that was supposed to go up today. It was postponed due to a threat of lightning. I assume this is... in French Guiana.
They're heading all the way to Jupiter, and they're put off by a bit of bad weather.
Yeah. If it's in French Guiana, is it not Le Lightning?
Whatever. I don't know. Somebody look at what the French for lightning is. But I guess how many years have you been working on this mission? When you've been working on a mission for 10, 15 years, what's another day to make sure it goes off right? Oh, it's going to take 8 years to get there anyway, so...
Yeah. How long is the launch window? Do we know?
10 feet.
Yeah.
The French word for lightning is éclair.
No,
it's not.
It is. Éclair. Éclair.
Chocolate lightning.
Chocolate lightning, that's what I'm thinking.
Not éclair.
Toffee lightning.
Éclair. No, it's chocolate eclair. Chocolate eclair.
No, I don't know how long the launch window is. Well, I've just landed amidst these weeds, so I can look at the link now. And did nobody read the story? Anyway,
no, of course not.
They are postponing.
Read the script in advance. Don't be ridiculous.
Somebody's. Well, what's the point of this mission? Well, the point of this mission is to visit the 3 of the Galilean. Well, they'll visit all 4, to be fair, but their focus is on 3 of the Galilean moons.
They're the ones that Queen sang about, yeah?
Yeah, Galileo Galilei. Yes.
Galileo Figaro, the 4th one.
The ones that.
Oh yeah, just to be clear, as Raphael has just said, foudre, which is also a word, the French word for lightning, but it's a different type of lightning. Éclair is lightning that is like a lightning bolt.
That's
and
yes.
foudre is lightning in the sky in the clouds.
Yes. I knew it. Yeah, I didn't think it was it. I knew it was something else. Anyway, so they're going to go and visit these 4 satellites. The largest, Ganymede, is just, I think, a tiny bit bigger than our moon. So that's the sort of size of body they're planning to visit. And they're not going to land. They're going to scan these objects from fairly low orbit. I think 25 kilometers. No, sorry, that's the American mission. 400 kilometers of the surface in some cases. So they're basically going to map them with LiDAR and radar and all kinds of other things. And they are looking for water. Because we don't have any left. A bit like George's pants last week.
They're so boiled off.
Yes. Now, the water's below the surface, obviously, so it's deep liquid water oceans are suspected. And as we found on Earth, as long as there's water, it doesn't really matter what else there is, because there tends to be life. If it's too hot, too cold, too acidic, doesn't matter. If there's no light, doesn't matter. Life tends to be found.
Yeah. It's heavily irradiated, doesn't matter.
So this, if presumably it gets off, when is it going now? Monday. Presumably it gets off. It's going to take 8 years to get there because, 6 tons, this satellite, which is pretty meaty.
That's a big, yeah.
So to get that off Earth, you can't fling it very far, so you've got to do the old gravity assist. I think it comes back to Earth 2 or 3 times. And gravity assists before it finally heads out into the outer solar system.
Yeah, it's not easy to get out there.
One thing that constantly interests me about like the Voyager missions and what was the one that went to Saturn?
Voyager 2.
The Cassini-Huygens missions. Is you watch a documentary about them and you see these people as sort of relatively young, in their 20s, in their 30s. Then when they actually get to the planet, they start talking about science. They've all had kids. They've all got families. They're all getting a bit grey. And when you watch some of the stuff going all the way back to Voyager, some of those people aren't even with us anymore. Carl Sagan, for instance. But it was described today as a multi-generational mission.
Yeah.
So 8 years is not so bad. So I guess 1 generation since its conception. And they'll be analysing the data from these missions for years and years, a bit like...
Cassini was about 10 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, by the time it got there. When did Cassini finish? It was 2016, 17, something like that, where they flew her into the clouds of Saturn. The Juno mission is around Jupiter. The Americans are sending a mission next year called Clipper, which will focus on Europa, because everyone thinks Europa's got the greatest chance of...
The big ocean underneath, possibly.
Yeah.
But what about Enceladus? That's one as well, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the one with the water spouts.
Yeah, Enceladus is very small, though.
Doesn't Europa have water spouts as well in the southern hemisphere?
I'm not...
Yes, but not as much as Enceladus.
It's the tiger stripes on Europa. Obviously, the crust isn't cratered, which tells you it's relative always. Every time you like on Pluto, when there's no cratering, it usually indicates a relatively young crust, and we see that on Europa and all the fissures and stuff as well. So and these obviously Jupiter has such a massive gravitational field that these things are constantly through tidal flexing. Constantly heated within. Probably they're of a size where they have some of their own residual heat as well. But Ganymede's interesting because it has its own magnetic field.
Oh.
So there's lots to discover.
No, I'm even managing to get this on screen as you're talking as well, while rapidly posting messages saying, "Tickets alive, tickets alive, tickets alive." Yes, yeah. Ganymede. There we go.
Can we say not actual scale?
Not to scale. No.
To scale. Where's the Tesco banana? Oh yeah, I see.
There's the Tesco banana, just in this shot here. It's tiny and it's just over there. Yeah.
The moons are aliens to scale, but not actual distance to scale.
Yeah, they've got aliens on screen.
The Tesco banana.
Yeah, well,
tardigrades.
We're not going to find.
That's the kind of thing that Amelia would wrestle with in the Galnet Rares Digest.
I'd eat that.
Anyway, It would try and eat you back. Anyway, so that's
Yeah,
that's this week's launch.
Space
But then
news.
next week, if we go up to the top here and we switch to science as well, have they got the other one? Where's the? No, have you ever wondered what? Oh, they've not listed it on here. We do have No More Virgins.
What's going on with Virgin?
Sad.
Yeah, the Virgin.
They're bankrupt.
Rocket launch, plane launched rocket that went plop. Unfortunately, is no more, and they have run out.
Yes. Cornwall Spaceport now has lots of
Yeah,
space.
please note,
Yeah.
this is Virgin Orbit, where they drop rockets off a plane without people in, not Virgin Galactic, where they drop rockets off a plane with people in. Totally
Okay.
different company.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just trying to find. I'm sure it was on here as well that they had another space one to talk about what's happening next week as well. Well, they've named people who are going to the moon mission. Shaun the Sheep came back. If we saw that one, Shaun the Sheep did come back after taking part in the NASA Epic mission last year.
That thing came back, did it? That was
Yeah,
that
they actually
one,
got
wasn't
Shaun back.
Yeah.
They took 2 up with them, but only Shaun came back.
It's traditional for manned missions. They come
Yep.
back
it? Yeah.
and
Here we go.
return them safely to Earth.
Returned. Here we go. There he is on screen with his ESA patch. Shaun the Sheep is back on Earth. But I was just trying to look up, and it's not on here, and they did have it on here, about the launch that's happening next week. Do we know what the mission name is next week? It's a SpaceX one, isn't it? Let's do a search for SpaceX's next upcoming launch. Here we go. Pop it up on screen. The next launch, this one is Transporter 7, but look, the Starship flight test is coming up next week. Cool, that's a big rocket.
That's a whopper.
That is a whopper. There are whole islands in the background smaller than that. Anyway, so it's the first integrated flight test of Starship is trending
I don't
towards...
see where's the Tesco banana for that one?
Yeah, the banana's there. It's
Shaun
in
the
the
Sheep
cab.
ate it.
of
Oh, I
that-
see it. Yeah, I see it now.
down
Yeah,
in the cab.
okay.
And
Oh, that
there's
is
one in the road roller over here as well.
Yeah, what about
Yeah.
that? Is the one on top of that cherry picker on the left?
I didn't see that one.
No,
I think that's a
usually
plantain.
cherries, not bananas.
Yeah.
Is that plantain? Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway, it's the first integrated flight test of Starship. So what they've done is this bit on the top up here, they've flown that up to sort of high altitude and dropped it and gone, has it gone splat or has it flown down? And it flew down. And this bottom bit here, they've test fired it to check it goes whoosh properly.
Yeah.
What they've done is they've now glued the two together and they're going to send it up to do an orbit and come back, as far as I can tell, do an orbit and come back down again to try a re-entry using this ship.
So I take it the top bit is the actual spaceship then?
Yeah,
and
that's
bottom
the
bit is
spaceship.
A massive solid rocket booster.
That's a solid firework underneath it. And
No, it's metal ox fired. It's not solid.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. The,
Anyway-
the top bit is the Starship, which goes and comes back, and the bottom bit's the BFR, the big fabulous rocket, which
Yeah.
boosts
Yes.
the Starship into orbit or whatever.
right, and to give you an idea, this bit here, the big tall bit that it's strapped to, is 146 meters or 500
Meters.
feet tall.
Yes.
How many
that's-
bucks is that?
That's 14,037.
How many bananas that is. But anyway, so that approximately is the timetable. Oh, go on then, go on.
Is Starship the correct term? Wouldn't spacecraft be the more correct term? Because Starship denotes travel between stars.
Well, Starship
Its
brackets
name is
trademark.
Its name is
Yes.
Starship 1.
Yeah, Starship is the name of the craft.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a Starship, but it's called Starship.
But anyway, they're gonna try that one sometime soon, and it's
The
either
same
gonna go
way as-
whoosh.
The band wear.
Yeah, is it
Nothing's gonna
Starship
stop them now.
Traveller?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to go whoosh, zoom, down again, or whoosh, zoom, splat, or boom, or something, and they're aiming for the 17th, I believe, for this this first one.
As long as it doesn't go fut.
Oh, it might do. It might just fall over. Anyway, so that's the space news. We do have a minor update on ECM in the script there, just monitoring it as things go. Anybody see it? Drum roll.
30% of tickets have already sold. Damn, missed the drum roll. Sorry.
Oh, you missed the drum roll. And in
They're going
fact,
fast.
30%
go.
and increasing as far as I can tell at the moment. Let's have a look for the overview. Add that to that. Yeah, we're just over 30% of tickets have now already gone.
They are going fast.
They are going very fast. Right, we do need a drum roll now. Have you got the drum roll ready for the next drum roll?
I do.
Ooh, go on then.
And this week's mug winner is Dart Virtual. That's his second mug today.
So, hang on a second. Dart Virtual now has a Hackswing mug and, a Too Hot, Too Messy official Hutton Orbital Hutton mug coming in the post.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not until they get in touch with us.
Well, yeah, you
Ah,
have to get
okay.
in touch
And how do they get in touch?
by
Well-
emailing I took part at huttonorbital.com with proof of who they are, their contact details, etc.
Yeah. I've sent them a message on Hutton Helper as well.
Great.
I'm special with that. Yeah. So, well done. Congratulations, Dart Virtual. I've seen their
Yeah.
name in the results. I'm sure they're probably at some point owed a decal as well, but I'll have to confirm that before I can confirm it.
You have to confirm it before you can confirm it.
Absolutely.
Well, there's no point in her confirming it after she's confirmed it, is there?
No, we won't confirm it after I've confirmed it, or while I'm confirming it. But once I've confirmed it, I'll confirm it or not.
Is that confirmed?
Not yet.
Anyway, who would like to hear Word of the Week?
Oh, yes, please.
Word of the week.
Not really.
Well, tough.
We can go and wait outside then.
Do you want to steal Word of the Week since I stole your one-liner?
No, it's fine. You
Okay,
can-
right. Don't say I didn't offer. Word of the Week is prick me dainty, which is for an overly nice person.
That is not what I thought it was going to be.
Oh my!
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
I can use it in a sentence. It's true what they say. The apology officer is an absolute prick me dainty.
You do know we're going to be editing that and putting out a slightly shortened version as a soundbite later.
Okay, well,
For those of you that weren't sure of the spelling, it's actually up on screen now, including that last sentence as well. There we go.
Yeah. Just in case you want to sample it even more easily, prick.
Okay. Oh no,
Dear.
dainty, not dainty.
That is not
Yeah.
what I thought it was meant.
I'll wait till we're off air and then I'll find out what you thought it meant.
I'm not going to say on the air.
No, you'll get us banned.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's not suitable.
from noises of mirth to just noises, how can you tell if an anteater is really good at golf?
Ooh,
It's in the stance, isn't it?
it's got to be.
They're always under par dvark.
Oh. I tell you what,
Aardvark!
and now, on that note, it's time for Flossy with the super duper extended this week's I Hope the Button Works CG News.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. First, last week's CGs ended with a marginal win for the Federation. Defend Torval Mining Limited's interest finished at Tier 2 with 27.4 billion credits earned. And Support Kane Massey Security Forces also finished at Tier 2 but with 29.5 billion credits earned. And this week there are no CGs. Sorry. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Next, we go over to the Harry and Meghan of news, just trying to make ends meet. It's Beetlejuice Witherspoon with the Galnet News Digest.
Galnet News Digest, 13th of April 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, questions are being asked about a possible link between Salvation's so-called Nemesis failsafe and Pranav Antal's SIM archive. And both sides claim victory in the week-long war between Cain Massey and Torval Mining.
The Alliance's scientific liaison to Aegis is leading a delegation to the Utopia commune to decide whether Salvation's consciousness really could have cheated his physical death. The similarity between the Nemesis failsafe, a Guardian-powered system that ex-test subject Xiaojin Ai claimed Salvation used to preserve his sentience after he was killed in the Bright Sentinel megaship in August last year, and the ongoing work with the SIM archive in Pranav Antal's Utopia is striking. But the Federal Times says that the SIM archive, which has been under development for several hundred years, is not believed to use Guardian technology and is likely to be a parallel but separate development to Salvation's alleged death-defeating system. Nonetheless, Aegis is keen to understand just how feasible the digitisation of consciousness might be, and Dr. Fonseca expressed his gratitude to SIM guru Antal for granting him and a small team of Aegis scientists an audience to analyse the facts as they're known and to decide whether the claims that Salvation is still alive should be taken seriously.
The Federal and Imperial editions of Galnet have published differing accounts of the outcome of the week-long war between Cain Massey and Torval Mining Limited over the custody of the alleged killer of the former Cain Massey CEO, Johann Fleischer. According to the Federal version of the story, Torval Mining was forced to hand over the suspect at gunpoint when Cain Massey's supporters were on the point of overwhelming the megaship Orchestral Falcon. While in the Imperial version of the story, it was only after Federal forces were beaten back that Zemina Torval announced that the alleged assassin, whom she described as an interloper from Federal space, travelling with fake ID, was handed over not to the Federation, but to the Imperial Security Services. According to the Federal story, the Proactive Detection Bureau and the Federal Intelligence Agency are working to find out who the unnamed assassin is and what their association with Torval Mining is, while the Imperial version has Saskia Landau, the head of Imperial Intelligence, tipped off by Zemina Torval's grandson, Titus Torval, questioning the murderer to find out who in the Federation paid them to murder Fleischer. It is perfectly possible that both sides are holding a suspect, and both suspects are being questioned. With no identity, how can we be sure which of them is holding the right suspect? The whole affair seems incredibly muddled, and in fact it transpires that many of those who fought in the conflict were also somewhat muddled, and fought on both sides alternately, hoping to earn all 4 paint jobs that were on offer. The evil mercenaries of Hutton Orbital have been particularly unpleasant, killing combatants on both sides of the conflict with reckless abandon. They'll sell their conscience to anyone for the price of a paint job.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejude and Witherspoon. Now we hand over to another royal of news. It's the mad relative locked in the attic and fed on fish heads. Here's Mia Harkness with the Hutton Helper results.
Welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free first aid box under the seat. Just the box, mind, we're not made of money. This week we have the following events: the Exploratory Surgery Cup, the Head-to-Toe in Elastoplast Tournament, the Can You Scratch This For Me Deja Vu Trophy, the Tripped Over One of Those Little Yellow Cones Charity Shield, the Just a Flesh Wound Spectacular, and the You're Going Home in a Big White Ambulance Award. So, buckle up, Chuckle Fox. The Hutton Helper results are: Torquay Mouse jumped 40,000 light years to come first in distance travelled. Commander Chicks sold 38,000 tonnes of cargo. Rincewind Kimru is top mission runner with 560 mission points. Alex Zuno handed in 555,555,555 credits worth of count. I'll start that again. Alex Zuno handed in 555,555,555 credits worth of bounties. Aziraphale handed in 2.2 billion credits of combat bonds. And Millstone Barnes destroyed 2,065 Thargoids. And then Waller81 delivered 2,080 people to their various destinations. So, decals for Aziraphale, Warjoy for exploration data cashed in, and Tolian for ore mined. Please email I took part at huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your seamless Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of 30 feet of rubber hose, some paint and a dicky tummy. There have been a whopping 12 Hutton runs in the last 7 days. Well, there were on Tuesday when I did this. Norbert Patinod. The top 5 are Norbert Patinod, 1 hour 23 minutes 49 seconds. Bandicoot, 1 hour 23 minutes 56 seconds. Till Z, 1 hour 24 minutes and 1 second. And Steve King, 1 hour 24 minutes and 11 seconds. Now, there's a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing litibulated, desalinated, sugared, taken offline, exploded, launched, rung in, decked with boughs of holly, motivated, evacuated, unfriended, ejected, manhandled or woman-handled, smeared, deflected, kept warm in the oven, emphasised, fertilised, snuffled, flip-flop, mistranslated to and from Spanish, killed, mugged, ginned, wrapped up with a pretty bow, ship-shot rescued, having their immersion ruined, battered and deep-fried, dead-drop painted, rolled down a hill, destroyed, bought, sold, squeezed, inflated, recognised for their outstanding contribution, liquidated, evaporated, smelled, licked, discombobulated, recombobulated, head-butted, eviscerated, compressed, enveloped, strained, fermented, murderised with an S, interrobanged, upcycled, violently downcycled, disallowed, reallowed after consulting VAR, smelted, loved, adored, cherished and probinated. And you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. To get involved, you just have to go to hut.follower.com and download or sign up for the spectacular Hutton Helper, now available in 3 smouldering formats. Let's face it, anything has to be better than being covered in plaster and needing a pee. Anyway, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Maya. And now we go to Amelia Hawke for this week's Galnet Race Digest.
You are about to listen to Amelia Hawke. She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
This week, we're hunting greebles. More specifically, the rare baked greebles of Bamford Ring in 38 Virginis. If you look greebles up in the dictionary, you'll find 2 entries. The first comes from the 20th century film industry, A greeble, or nurney, is quite simply the term applied to the prominent detailing added to sets and props, particularly in science fiction, to make them look more complex and interesting. These pipes and limps, the knobbles and bubbles that you have no idea what their function is, but look cool. The second is from the field of psychology. Greeble refers to an invented category of novel objects used as stimuli in psychological studies of object and face recognition. Or to put it simply, blobs that look like faces. The library of greebles used in this fashion is broken into two genders, the plock and the glip, and 5 different types, samar, osmit, gali, radok, and tassio. In an infinite universe, even in a finite but exceedingly large Milky Way, and with the huge numbers of planets that exist, not to mention the near infinite number of monkeys out there, it is a little surprise when something appears that fits both descriptions uncannily accurately. 38 Virginis is home to the greeble, tough little limpet-like creatures. Unlike the more recently named limpets that can be found in deep space, these are primarily found around one of the gas giants in the system, 38 Virginis A2. Scanning the system, it looks much like many of the other gas giants you might find throughout space, but this one, the rings around it, and indeed the rest of the system, harbors this unique life form. Iron-rich, the greeble is born in the upper atmosphere of the gas giant. If you look at the description, you can see it listed as having water-based life. In a hibernating closed state, they drift through the system, picked up by comets, spaceships, and the gravitational pull of other bodies. Like their seafaring namesake, they latch on to whatever they can find. So why are they called greebles? Just one look at a ship that's passed through the system, you can see why at first glance. They congregate in large numbers, and their regular shape gives ship hulls a complexity that wouldn't look out of place in the latest Holovid adventures of your favourite space hero. They tessellate, giving even the most smooth and sleek ship a complex outline. Lift one up and look underneath, and you'll see something that everyone agrees looks like a face. What's more, they do indeed have 2 genders, and yes, there are 5 varieties of them, each with their own distinct shape. If you prize one off a rock, or your ship, you can immediately see what drew hungry spacefarers to try them as food. The hard shell covers a soft interior resembling an oyster or mussel from Earth. They wouldn't be included in the Galnet food directory as dangerous, if they were, of course, edible, or at least without a happy accident. The insides of these creatures are as iron-rich as they are toxic. Shuck one and slurp it down like a mollusk morsel aphrodisiac, as you would back on Sol, and you'll soon discover a world of stomach cramps, violent, explosive digestive discomfort, hallucination, and death, as your body expels its insides in fluid form until you quite literally desiccate from the inside out. That would have been the end of it, had one pilot, Jacaranda Jim, not tried his first after an exploration journey into a number of other systems. Stranded on an Earth-like world after running out of fuel and with little to eat that wasn't trying to eat him, he prized one off, baked it over his fire, and managed not to die. The rescue team that recovered him found his ship surrounded by the discarded shells of the greebles that had latched onto his ship, and him no worse for wear. He'd kept one specimen as a pet and called it Alan, mainly as it had a friendly face, but partly because he was lonely. Studying the organisms, they discovered what had happened. He'd visited a nearby ammonia world, and a combination of the pressure and the gas itself had rendered the greeble safe to eat. Having discarded the shell and all the dodgy-looking bits, it had provided him with an iron-rich food source that kept him free of anemia while stranded. I mean, yes, The ammonia pressure treatment from his visit had left the outside of his ship smelling a bit like the gentleman's toilets at a sports club. But beggars can't be choosers. And, well, he chose well. Chefs at Bamford Ring pay high prices for greebles that have been flown through high-pressure ammonia clouds, and they're experts at preparing them, baking them, and selling them as a delicacy. Incredibly slow-growing, they build up their hard shells over hundreds of years, the largest ones being the size of a dinner plate, and looking uncannily like an escape hatch on the side of your ship. I've got a plate of the smaller ones here, maybe only 50 years old. Gaston the chef has donned his chainmail gloves and apron, shucked them for me, coated them in his secret blend of spices, and baked them before arranging them back on their shells. The blend of spices is important to mask the strong smell of ammonia. But they are delicious. Each one is a flavor explosion that bursts in your mouth. A crispy exterior surrounding a soft and meaty, bite-sized portion. For our second course, he's serving greeble sweetbreads. I made the mistake of asking which part of the creature is deep fried for these crispy bites. Apparently, greeble gonads are both delicious and nutritious. But I wish I hadn't asked. Raw, I'm not so sure. Try and chew one, and it's pleasantly squishy. Swallow one whole, and I'm reminded of the last time I had a nasty cold. It's the baked greeble that has achieved rare status as a delicacy, and I, for one, can't quite get enough of them. The 5 varieties each have their own subtle, different flavour. If it was up to me, I'd have a Raddock greeble every time. I've met Jacaranda Jim. He's a deck chair attendant on the beluga liner Iberspleen. He still has Alan, and he agrees, though he did bizarrely ask me what I'd do with a cucumber, a gin-spitting pirate, and a piece of gristle. So I'm not so sure he survived the encounter entirely unscathed. This is Amelia Hawke for the Galnet Rares Digest. We eat deep-fried Raddock Plock greeble gonads, so you don't have to. After that, I'm off to mask the smell from the kitchen with a Comitra cigar. Thank you to the commander who sent me the box of them.
Charmed.
I love the words.
You love the words?
Yeah. Samara, Osmit, Galley, Raddock, and Tassio, greebles.
Yeah, and I mean, they are lovely different kinds of greebles, and they all have their own distinct flavour.
Very distinct, yeah. I mean, subtly distinct, but distinct.
Yeah, subtly. Oh, look, I'm back on screen again now. Sorry, I realised that, see, when you were talking there, it deleted all of us from the screen. And then when you finished, it brought everybody back apart from me, which was rubbish. Yeah, I mean, these greebles, I mean, it is one of the tastier ones. It's the second time you've tried the greebles now.
Yeah.
And, you know, swallow one whole and I'm reminded the last time I had a nasty cold. I mean, that's not the great advert, you know, Karsuki Locust's Yum that's on the banners, or swallow one of these and it'll feel like you've got a nasty cold. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as they've been treated with the ammonia clouds. Because, I mean, if not, then you're in for
you need
nasty.
to cook them. You do need to cook these. Otherwise, they're deeply, deeply unpleasant, but delicious and nutritious. And Jacaranda Jim is an eccentric character. Now, there may be 1 or 2 people in the chat who know who Jacaranda Jim was and why Alan is well known to Jacaranda Jim, particularly if you had enjoyed text adventures back in the 1980s called Jacaranda Jim. And Alan was a gribble, not a greeble, but, you know, lost in translation. But, you know, he was a gin-spitting pirate or knew some, and there was plenty of gristle involved. Anyway, well, look, thank you very much, Amelia.
My pleasure.
And we'll just a quick update on how we're doing on the ECM. Let's have a look.
Have we beat 40% yet?
I don't know. There's lots of people going, I'm going. But take that number. Ooh, crikey. I'm just doing the sums. Hang on a second.
There's been a confirmation in the chat that Ed Hunter and Nemb will be attending.
Woohoo!
Yay!
En masse. Lots of names cropping up. I'm not going to sort of out anybody that hasn't outed themselves, if you know what I mean. Let's have a look. Anybody else saying, Nemb and I, and see you there. Ooh, we have a wandering Dobbo that we haven't seen for ages and ages and ages. We have the VAR. No, we don't have the VAR, the video assistant referee. No, they have broken the number one rule, be excellent to each other. They're generally not excellent. Or maybe sometimes they are, but they get a lot of abuse. But we don't want that kind of abuse magnet. So no, we're not going to be having them there. Lots and lots of people coming. If you are going and you're happy to shout that you're going, please do. We're not going to out you, if you know what I mean, about whether you're going or not. But if you are going and you want to shout, I'm going as well, then please do pop a message into Twitter. We do have a Twitter feed for the ECM. Which I'm just going to. Here we go, to our profile, which is twitter.com/elite meet event. Do feel free to pop in there and do a like or a share. I'm going, and I'm going to, and tag your mates if you want them to come along and play games with you. We have announced on there that tickets are live as well. There has been a bit of retweeting and liking going on. Other than that, does anybody have anything else? Oh, go on
yes.
then.
Did we break the 40% barrier?
We are approaching it at speed.
Oh,
haven't quite yet, but I think we're probably on for a day one record in terms of number of sales. Suffice to say, we're definitely getting there on having a packed event. There are rumours that certain of the streaming community will be turning up as well, but I'll leave that for them to talk about during their streams, if they want to. But they're going to be popping in as well as. And doing their thing. They'll be joining in the gaming. Some of the voices you'll recognise, if not the faces. There's a hint for you. Yes.
class.
Absolutely classy. Now, there were some seams inserted into the show this evening. I'm getting the hang of the new buttons with the new colouring that Litho Breaker did. Litho Breaker, I think you're back on duty next week.
Was that smearless?
Smearless, no, seamless. But... Oh, is Litho there? Have we lost the Litho? Hang on a second.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are
He's
here.
playing with the marbles.
Yeah, he is. So Litho will be
I've
back
lost
next
them
week.
long ago.
Hopefully the Too Hot Too Messy feed will be back online.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'll have a working button deck.
Yes, well...
I need to rebuild mine to match yours now.
We've got an end of the show button.
Did we have a start of the show button?
We did, yes. And it did the swoopy thing on screen.
It records everything, does it?
Yeah, the one that hits record that I didn't do, which means I'm going to have to stick it together with sticky tape afterwards. I was so concentrating on the new visuals and everything that, I completely forgot. Well, I'd do as punishment, I even had it set up so I can call up on screen if I switch to this scene here and go to there. I can even call up Hutton's influence for you on screen right now, Commander Chicks.
Ooh,
and ask difficult questions like...
in a particular system?
No, for all of our systems. On screen right now. And I can say, what does it mean? And I can pan around and talk to you about which systems are on high and low. Epsilon,
Problem is, Twitch is like 20 seconds behind for me tonight.
Yeah, well, it's all on screen. Look at all these systems. Look, there's loads of them, and there's a graph and there's pictures. Anyway, just in case, I've got that available, and just in case we need to look anything up.
Here comes the big aerial.
That's
not
the right one.
Yeah, and then I've got
it's the other one,
and I've got Inara up on screen now if we needed to as well, so I can look things up live on the show.
Now it's much nicer to look at.
No.
You can see everything in a glance.
Somebody's dog's having a drink.
Slop, 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 slop. So I'm not even going to go there.
You hope it's the dog.
Yeah, I hope it's the dog. I can even call up, just for Commander Wallacewood, I can even put Galnet on the screen.
I couldn't say what kind of bowl that is, but set a dog bowl or a toilet bowl.
Now, as is traditional at this point of the show, we've got a couple of things to announce. Obviously, in a minute, if you've not listened to the show before, and we know some of you have tuned in for ECM news. By the way, ECM tickets are live. It's about to get a little bit noisy. So you might want to consider, if you've got earpieces in, that kind of thing, considering moving them away from your ear. But we've got a couple of things first. So we're giving you a little bit of warming. Yes, you've been warmed and warned.
Got to test out this new mic.
Yes, and Amelia gets to test out this new mic in a second. But before we do that, I'm not going to be here next week. Litho Breaker's going to be here next week. We typically raid somebody. Now, do we have our raid target lined up?
The regular one is online and deleting.
The regular one is online and deleting. So at the end of the show, after the music plays, do please stay around because we're going to go and raid somebody. What we need you to do, listener and viewer, is when we raid them, all of you who are going to ECM, go squee and convince them to come to ECM as well. I know that's just completely shameless, but come and do that too. And but it is Commander Woolies, I think, and his very mellifluous voice. However, talking of that, if mellifluous voices, Amelia, warning has been issued. Somebody do the alert, quick.
For the mug! For the mug!
For the mug!
Mug.
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 Journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton. Whoa, 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 no journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's
The end of the show.
everyone's buggered off.
Why don't you bugger off too?